Hello and welcome to another episode of Podfulness. Let's get started.
Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Podfulness. This is the first episode of season 2. Now, if you listened to Podfulness last year, you know that, first of all, it was only available as a podcast. You could only hear it on Spotify, on Apple Music, wherever you might stream your podcast. But this year, we are putting all of the podcasts as video. I don't know if that makes it vodcast. I don't know what the terminology is, but now you can find Podfulness on YouTube. So just go to youtube.com/@Podfulness, and you'll be able to find all of the episodes streaming. So if you like video, it's available for you. You can see the guest, you can see the laughter and the joy that we bring to the world. Or if you prefer listening via audio, via your podcasts, that's still going to be available. Same show, except one place you can watch it and one place you can listen to it. The other thing about season 2 here is that this year, all of my guests are going to be teenagers. Last year was a lot of fun talking to my friends and my colleagues about podcasts that they like to listen to. But I thought teenagers would be a fun group because I don't find a lot of podcasts where adults and teens are talking. And if they are, it's usually about serious subject matter. And I just wanted to keep this a little bit light and maybe bridge that gap between the generations. And so for the first episode, I'm going to start with a very, very special guest, which I will get to. So season 2 is starting now. You can find us on YouTube. You can also continue to listen to us wherever you stream your podcasts. And I think we're ready for Podfulness season 2. Let's get to it. So as we begin this new season of Podfulness, and we're going to be talking to teenagers, my first guest is a very special guest because he is my teenage son. I have 2 boys. One is in college, and my youngest, Sammy, is 17. He is a junior in high school. And so I thought I'm going to bring him on the podcast. We're going to talk about life as a teenager, and I'm going to find out what he's streaming, what apps are popular with him, and we're also going to play a game. Now, I have a good relationship with my children. I'm so very fortunate. So I kind of know a lot of these answers, but I'm still going to talk with him about it. So you're going to meet Sammy. He's bright, I like to think. I think he's funny. He's sarcastic. He gets that from me. Definitely. He loves playing soccer and basketball. He's really into fantasy football. He's a really good kid. I am so grateful that he is in my life. And so it is a pleasure to introduce you to our first guest on season 2. His name is Sammy. He's my son. Let's meet him. Sammy, you are my first guest on season 2 of Podfulness.
Yeah.
I thought maybe you'd say something more than that. Nope. We're not on a delay. That was in real time.
Yep.
How do you feel about that? You're on your dad's podcast.
Well, considering your millions and millions of listeners, it's kind of surreal. So
I see the sarcasm doesn't fall far from the tree with my children. Well, Sammy, let's talk a little bit about you. You are 17 years old.
Yep.
You're a junior in high school. You like to play soccer. I'm going to tell you about you. Okay. You like to play soccer. You like to be on the phone. You like to listen to the music. You like to Snapchat. You like to play fantasy football. And that's pretty much it. Ping pong, but you just recently had a little bit of a knee situation, right? What did you have wrong with your knee? You dislocated it?
Just tore my ACL. So something.
Oh, it was an ACL injury.
Yeah.
That's right. And when did that happen?
Before
During a soccer game?
Yeah, before our first game, it was during practice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That stinks.
Yeah.
So Sammy, you're on this podcast, and the whole reason I'm doing this podcast is because I want to be able to talk with teenagers about what life is like when they're a teenager, when you're a teenager, because I was a teenager, as you probably could have surmised, but I think it's a very different world, but yet I think a lot of things are still the same. And so that's the whole point of this season of podcast, is to get to know teenagers, what their life is like, what they're going through, what they're interested in, and really the media that you consume. Okay. So if you had to describe what teenage life is like, let's say some alien being comes down and visits Earth. Well, first of all, what would your first question be to that alien?
I don't know. Probably if you could speak English or not.
Yeah. Let's assume that, and I like how you said a he. Like we just assume it's a he or a she or a they. It's probably something very strange, right? But if you were to explain what teenage life is like in America, what would you say to this strange being?
I would say confusing unless you're a teenager and hard to adjust to. There's a lot to it, but it's really not that deep. um, pretty vague. I mean, I
Keep
feel
it
like there's
vague, Sammy.
not much you can really explain.
Right.
There's a lot of stress.
So what's some of the stress that you experience? Pretend I'm not your dad. Pretend I'm just one of the dudes, one of your guys, one of your, I don't even know what would be a term that you would use to describe your friends. One of your homeboys. Well, what is it that's a challenge about being a teenager?
School, friends trying to maybe fit in, or peer pressure of alcohol or drugs or whatnot, and just trying to figure out where you are in the society.
Let's first talk about school. What makes the school work hard? Is it because you want to do well? Is it because the work really is that difficult? Is it too much of it? What makes school hard?
Part of it's just procrastinating. Another part is, depending on the classes you take, the level of difficulty behind it. And, you're not spending all your time doing schoolwork. You have other things involved, whether that's sports or extracurriculars, clubs outside of school. So you can't spend all your time doing schoolwork. And sometimes that can be difficult. And having lots of tests on the same day can also add to the stress.
Yeah, teachers don't really coordinate their test schedule, do they?
Fortunately not.
Yeah, no. Is there a class you've taken at your high school that you didn't think you were going to like, but you ended up really liking?
APUSH.
APUSH, which stands for?
AP US History.
Yeah. And why is it that you thought you weren't going to like it? And then why is it that you liked it?
I heard it was extremely difficult. I heard it was one of the hardest AP classes. And my first couple of days, I was like, this is going to be a bunch of work. This is going to take up all my time.
And it was work.
Throughout the year, it was a lot of work. It did take up a lot of my time, but I enjoyed learning about what my teacher was teaching, and he was a really good teacher. I liked getting involved in what we were doing. And so even though it was a lot of work, it wasn't work that I hated doing necessarily.
Right. And that was a real difference maker because he was so passionate about his subject, right?
Yeah.
Did you learn anything historically where if you could go back in time and visit that time period, you'd like to? Or do you like living right here in modern days?
Maybe temporarily I would visit there, but I wouldn't want to go in a different time period permanently. I think why go away from modern medicine and
I'm telling
your
you,
phone to,
your
dueling
phone
with a pistol. So
that's right. We romanticize the past a lot. And then if we were there, we think, can I go back to present time again? That'd be kind of nice.
Again. Yeah.
Yeah. So socially, how's that adjustment? Going from middle school to high school, what was that like for you?
I think the biggest jump is the amount of people you meet.
Yeah.
With middle school, you're sitting around those same people for 3 years, and come 8th grade year, you practically know nearly everyone in your grade. Even though I was at a bigger middle school, you go to high school, you don't have classes with anybody you know. And so it takes meeting a lot of people. I know one of my good friends, I was talking about it with math, and I realized I met him in 9th grade English, and I didn't even realize it. I thought I knew him from middle school.
Oh, yeah, really?
So it feels like you know people for a longer time. And so I think it's just that big gap of having a lot more people in your life than you did before.
Yeah. And Sammy, I like to think that you and I have a pretty good relationship. Do you?
Yeah.
I feel like I've taken an interest in you and your friendships and your schoolwork, and I've been there for you. Do you think you could be honest with me 100%?
Depends the question.
No, well, I'm not going to ask you the question right now, but what I'm getting at is when you think about your friends, what do you think their relationship with their dads is like? Is it pretty good? Do you think they keep secrets from them, or what do you think?
I think for the most part, I think the people that I am good friends with are people who have a similar mindset as me. And so if they have a similar mindset, they probably have similar relationships with their parents. Not all of their relationships are the same, but I know for the most part, they have healthy relationships in their life that they can rely on. And even if it's not their parents, they still have those people in their lives.
Yeah. So are you getting a lot of pressure from your parents about college?
I wouldn't
You're not
say
getting
so.
any pressure from us.
No.
Is that something you want to do? Is that
Was
something
that a rhetorical question? Okay.
No, we leave a lot of this up to you, of course. We want you to go to college. We have planned for that. But if
Right.
you want to take a year off, are you interested in taking a year off? Not your
I don't know
senior
what
year.
I don't know what I do for a year.
I don't either. You do a lot of nothing around the house, don't you?
Thanks.
Did you say you put in your 10,000 hours of doing nothing? I mean that with love. You know that.
Really. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, Sammy, we're going to end this interview real quick here, this first segment with you, with something called Ask Me Anything, where I am going to encourage teenagers to ask me any question they want about maybe parenting, about adulting, because how often do teenagers actually get to ask an adult any question that they want? Now, I'm not going to say I've had a right answer or a good answer, but I encourage you right now to ask me anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shoot. Shoot. When
Yeah. You're
you might have to
editing yourself right now, aren't you?
you might have to cut some of this out.
No, we are into it now.
Can you let's say your child does something bad. Do you feel that you need to correct? Let's say your child does something bad that you did bad in your childhood. Are you focused more on, oh, I was a teenager once, I get that my child did that, or I need to correct their behavior so they won't do that again?
Oh, that's interesting. So let's say I was a parent that used to get lit. No, I'm trying to use terminology that you can relate to,
No,
that used to
no.
party on the weekends. And
There
then
you go.
now I catch my son doing the same thing. Am I going to be more forgiving because I know what it's like to be a teenager? I did that same thing, right? To answer your question, Sammy, if this made up child does something bad, no, yeah, it's probably not someone you're thinking about. You're going to be my child for a long time. So for me to get so angry, to kick you out of the house, to ground you for months, I don't think that will happen. I just want you to have an open communication with me because I want you to feel like you can trust me and that I'll be there for you. And if you make a mistake, that's part of being young. I actually want you to make some mistakes. I do. I want you to be able to make mistakes so you can grow. We don't grow from our successes. We grow from our mistakes. But, there were certainly things that I did when I was a young adult, but they weren't nearly as bad what other people that I knew did. So maybe you'll have to talk to your mom about that one. No,
Okay.
I don't
A
know
little
what
bit
that
of
means, but
shade.
does that answer your question? So
I
if
would say
you've done
so.
something, I think now is the forum to tell me.
Yeah. So about that fire that was
Oh, yeah.
hazardous a couple weeks ago.
Mhm.
Um, yeah.
Let's go to a
I'll tell
break,
you later.
Sammy. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so let's end this segment and we'll move on to the next segment, which is when we talk about what you're streaming. So stream sesh, Sammy, this is when I want to hear about what teenagers are listening to, what they're watching, how they're consuming social media. So let's start with music. What music are you really into?
A very wide range of music. I have different playlists in my phone.
Yep.
Spotify user, of course.
Yep.
Whether it's a happy vibe or a chill vibe, or maybe before games. I like rap, but I don't have a artist that I just listen to solely.
Mm-hmm. Is there an artist that you'd love to see in concert?
I don't know. I
No?
mean, I'm sure there's artists that I would enjoy seeing in concert, but nobody who I want to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on to
It's
see them
so
live.
expensive. I know it's so expensive,
Come
but
on.
that's how they make their money because you don't make a lot of money from streaming your songs.
That is true.
So they make it at concerts. Do you remember your first concert?
Was it Bare Naked Ladies?
It was Bare Naked Ladies. Of course it
State
was.
Fair?
Yeah. Do you remember any of it?
I remember we had pretty bad seats.
We did not have the best seats, but the music still sounded good from where we were sitting. So you do have an eclectic taste. I like that you're open to listening to some of my music. Not always, but when you're in the car, we alternate, which I do appreciate. Who's my favorite band? Do you know?
No.
No. Okay. You've been paying a lot of attention. Okay, so
Who's
video-wise,
who's your favorite band?
it doesn't matter right
Okay.
now. Okay. Video-wise, is there a show that you watch that you love?
TV show?
Yeah.
Love Ted Lasso. Seen it twice.
So good.
I like Keeping Up with Survivor. I've probably seen 80% of all Survivor episodes, except for the early ones. So I love Survivor. I love Ted Lasso. I don't know if there's really any other shows that I
What about
follow.
what about some of the other shows that I know teenagers got into, like Euphoria? Did you ever
Oh,
watch that?
never watched Euphoria. Never watched.
You, isn't there a show called You that's really popular? No.
There might be. There might be. There's another high school show. I feel like that I never watched. I don't know.
Right. Kicking
But
It, is that what you're talking about?
oh, I loved Kicking It. If you didn't love Kicking It, you didn't. You weren't
Ben
kicking.
10? Are you still into Ben 10?
Still watch episodes every now and then when I'm sick.
When you're it's your sick show.
Yeah,
Ben 10. It makes you feel like
that
a
and
little
Johnny
kid again.
Test.
A Johnny Test. Oh yeah. Great theme song. So Survivor has been around for over 20 years, I think, right?
A long time. Yeah.
Would you want to be on the
22.
show?
Oh yeah, for sure.
How do you think you do?
Watching it, I think of course I would win, but realistically, I actually don't know.
So here's my
I have
question.
a lot of confidence watching it.
Because I know you really well and you're an honest person. You do have a good poker face when we play cards.
You don't think
You
I would
really-
lie?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking you. Would you lie on the show?
Oh yeah, you have to.
Yeah, that's sort of accepted, isn't it?
That's a guaranteed. So
Who was your favorite winner?
it's got to be Tony.
Tony? Was he
Yeah.
the New York guy?
He was the police officer who won twice.
Oh, he won twice.
Yeah.
So does that mean he won $2 million? Was it $1 million each time?
No, it was $1 million, and then he won the Winners at War, which was $2 million. So he's won $3 million from it.
Do you think we'll see him on the show again?
I don't think
No.
so.
Okay.
If I were him, I wouldn't go on the show.
Enough Survivor talk. What about movies? Do you have a favorite movie that you go back to, or is there a type of movie that you like to watch?
Of course, I like the Marvel movies, but I don't really go back and watch a bunch of movies. I like Dark Knight, superhero movies. I've watched Ready Player One twice, but there's not really movies that I go back and constantly watch.
Right. Do any of your friends constantly quote movies? That was something that was, when I was a teenager, we didn't have as many options. So we all ended up seeing the same movies and we all kind of watched the same TV shows. And so those things were quoted over and over and over again. But there's nothing like that. There's no expression other than that's what she said. Is there anything?
That's what she said. It's now quoting memes, kind of, or famous sounds you'll hear on TikTok or whatnot.
Well, let's talk about memes, okay? For those that are listening now that are of a certain age, like me, what is a meme? Why? First of all, why is it called a meme? Do you have any idea?
Oh, I have no clue.
Okay.
It might stand for something. I don't know.
But a meme is what? The way I can explain it, it's either a picture or a video that's describes a feeling or it's making a commentary.
I don't feel like memes are as big anymore necessarily, but it's basically just a funny photo or very, very short clip.
Okay.
I guess. There's super popular memes, and then I don't think memes are as big anymore as they used to be. Now that there's so many social media platforms where you can produce videos and stuff, but basically what it was.
So what would a popular meme be that you can remember?
Oh,
like D's nuts, probably, right? Is that the most popular meme ever?
I don't know if it's the most popular meme ever, but there's 21 where the kid says that. Those are pretty old.
Yeah, I know.
But I'm sure there's, I'll see some on my Instagram posts or whatnot. There's basketball related, football related, the NFL meme pages I follow. They'll have the same stuff.
So I know there's the James Harden meme, right? Where he's doing an interview and he sort of looks at the camera and he goes out of the picture. Are you familiar with that one?
Slightly, yeah.
Sammy, I know a meme that you don't. All right. So videos, you don't rewatch movies, TV shows, but what about social media? What is your go-to app?
Probably Snapchat or Instagram.
What is it about Snapchat that young people love so much?
I think the reason it's my main form of communication, I feel like.
More than texting.
Yeah, although I suck at responding to anything, no matter if it's texting, Snapchat, or Instagram.
Do. That's true.
No, I do respond to you guys and a couple kids more than other people, which is bad. But I think Snapchat.
When was the last time you listened to a voicemail that I left you? Do you ever listen to my voicemails?
I don't have any unlistened to voicemails except for a scammer or something.
Okay.
Voicemail, I know what it says. I also don't get left voicemails that often because people don't call me. But
so Snapchat, what is it about it that you like so much?
I think the fact, when somebody sees your text or something, when they respond, if they screenshot it, you kind of know what's going through somebody's head. It's easy to get stuff out there, easy to post, easy to snap people.
Yep.
And you can meet a lot of people through Snapchat. So
is there an obligation when you receive a snap? So a snap is a picture, right? That you have to
Yes, or
reply
video.
right away, or video. Okay. But you have to reply right away to people.
No, it
There's
depends
not
how
that
close you are with the
urgency.
person. Some
Okay.
people, if I don't know you, one, I may not even have you on my Snapchat, or two, we may snap once a day or not at all. And then some people I know well and I'm good friends with, I may snap multiple times a day. So just
And
depends.
what is the most popular picture that people send? Is it their ceiling fan? Are they taking snaps of their curtains in their room, the floor, half of their
I
face?
I try not to snap people who send me their ceiling because I send my face. If you're not going to send me your face back, come on now. So I typically it's face, but I have gotten in the past, at least in the past years,
Yeah.
S's for streaks, but people don't really do that anymore. So
People don't do that. So just to educate our audience here, what makes Snapchat, in my opinion, so addictive and why you check it out every day is because you want to have streaks with people. So when you snap someone and they snap you back, that counts as a day. And some people have streaks of 1,000, right? 2,000. That means that for 2,000 days in a row, they have sent a picture and received a picture from the same person, right?
yeah, so my highest streak at one point was 600 something,
Uh-huh.
and then got my phone taken for a week and lost all my streaks. And then honestly, from there, I didn't care about streaks anymore. And I
We
don't
did
really
it for
care.
your own good.
Yes, appreciate it. So I don't really care about streaks that much anymore. And if I have them, I have them. But if I don't, it's whatever.
But isn't it fascinating when those streaks went away, life went on? It was
Yeah.
okay. I do remember when
Pretty
you went away for camp and you asked me to continue your streaks.
Yeah,
And it was so stressful. It was so stressful. And then I think, did I forget to one day and you lost all your streaks?
I do. I do remember
I'm
that.
so sorry about that.
And
And
I
then,
was only snapping like 20 people then, so you should be grateful.
oh my gosh. Yeah, I see your list. Yeah, it's pretty long there. And then Instagram, I know you
She
spend a
said,
lot of time on the gram, but you follow, like you said, a lot of NFL pages, a lot of meme pages, right?
a lot of sports pages, yeah.
A lot of sports pages because you are way into fantasy football.
Not even all fantasy football, but yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much.
So tell me something that even a sports fan wouldn't understand what you're saying. Like, is there a certain player that blew up in fantasy that's blown up this year that people need to know about and pick up on their waiver wire?
A-Chan, however you pronounce his name.
Okay.
He's coming back off the IR.
Uh-huh.
You got to pick him up along with Kyron Williams. He's been a stud so far.
Sure.
Adam Thielen's been a major sleeper this year.
Has
He's
he?
good. I picked up Sam Howell off the free waivers.
Sam Howell, lighten it up.
He's been
He's a
doing
Tar
pretty
Heel.
solid for me, second in passing. So stuff like that.
Do you talk to your mom about this stuff?
When she doesn't tune me out.
Yeah. Do you think she's tuning you in when you talk
No.
about fantasy at all?
No.
Do you notice her kind of slip off into another world when it happens?
Our conversations don't last very long.
What do you think your mom is thinking about when you talk to her about fantasy football?
How she can make her art look better.
It always goes back to art, doesn't it? All right. Well, thank you for educating me on what you're streaming. We're now going to take a second to get a breather and come back, Sammy, and we're going to play a game. You ready for that?
Let's do it.
All right. Sammy, for generations, teenagers have been labeled as selfish, that the world revolves around them, that they don't pay any attention to anything else except what's right in front of them. Now, do you think that's a fair thing to say about teenagers?
For some people.
For some people. So you pay attention to your surroundings, right?
I'll try to.
Yeah. You try to be as involved as possible. So we're going to play a game right now. And this is called How Well Do You Know Your Dad?
Podfulness.
So what I've done is I have
asked to a good start.
I've asked myself 9 questions and I've written my answers down. And I want you to be able to tell me at least 5 out of these 9 questions, these answers. Does that make sense?
No pressure.
All right. No pressure at all. So I'm going to throw you an easy one. So the first one is, when is my birth date?
July 27th.
Sammy.
July 27th. July 27th.
Yes. Okay. Good. Oh man. All right. I thought that would be easy. All right. You are not going to do well on this. I can tell you right now. All right. Are you ready?
Whew.
Question number 1. What was my first concert ever? I know
Wait,
your
question
first
number
concert.
1. That was at number 1?
That was just a warm up. That was just a
Oh.
warm up. I'm sorry.
Okay.
What was my first concert? Yours was Bare Naked Ladies at the Indiana State Fair. Mine was 1983.
Uh-huh.
It was their Cargo Tour. That was their second album. Their first album, Business as Usual. The band that opened for them was In Excess. Can you tell me the name of this band?
None of those details help me at all. No, I don't think
You
it
have
was
to
a
guess.
big-
You have to guess an answer.
Okay, well, it wasn't a big band. Like a super
At the time they were big.
Time was big.
At the time they were big.
I
I
mean,
know you're not going to get it, so just go ahead and guess any
I'll
band.
just say Queen.
Oh, I wish.
I know it's not Queen, but
That's a great. Always go to Queen if you can't think of something. Men at Work, Sammy. Men.
you have said that before.
I have said Men at Work before. Okay, here we go.
I wouldn't have guessed that though.
You're 0 for 1. I'm not going to write this down. So far, it's really easy to keep score. What was my first job ever? And I only worked that job for 1 day.
Oh, frick.
Mm-hmm. What were you going to say?
I was gonna say you were on TV for a children's channel.
Okay, that's true. My first job in high school. Let's do that instead.
Oh, first job in high school.
That's right. Not my first real life.
I know you're a
job.
camp counselor.
I was, but I did something before that for only 1 day.
I feel like you babysat for a day, but I don't think it's that.
Yeah.
For a day?
Yeah. So what's your guess?
That didn't last very long.
No, it did not. And there's a good reason for it.
Shopping.
Uber driver.
No.
Shopping. A hired shopper.
Cashier.
Oh, cashier.
Oh,
no, I was a bag
wait.
boy. I was a bag boy, but that was not my first job.
Was it a waiter?
No, I also
Okay, I'm
did
just
that
guessing a lot
too.
of things. Okay.
You're guessing a lot of things. My first job was a movie theater. I worked in a movie theater. And the reason it lasted only 1 day, and let this be a lesson for you about personal hygiene, Sammy, they had me clean the bathroom. So I'm there with a mop and it's gross and I'm cleaning the bathroom. And then I come back and I ask, where can I wash my hands? And the manager said, oh, there's a sink over there. But before you do that, can you make a batch of popcorn?
Oh.
Yeah. So that's why I never get popcorn at the movie theater.
Don't blame you.
1 day. Question number 3, Sammy, you're 0 for 2. What was the best vacation that I believe we ever took as a family?
As a family.
Yeah.
Can you give me the hint as if it's recent or not?
No, it's a trip that you went on with us because you are part of my family.
Well, right, but I don't know if I went on it when I was 6.
I tell you what, it
When I was
is
16.
probably something you don't really remember much of.
Okay, so it's okay. So this had to be when Eli and I got along. Okay.
Oh, you guys are
No,
going to get along again.
We got along in trips, but was this an Amish bike riding trip? No, wait. Sorry, I'm thinking.
That's
too
okay.
much of
That's
Eli and
okay.
I being,
We have gone on Amish trips together. We go up
Was
to
it
northern
the-
Indiana for a bike ride through Amish land. Yeah. You got to guess. This was such a softball. The best trip we ever took as a family. My
To
favorite trip.
to
Because
Lake
I got to go.
Michigan?
No. Oh, Disney World.
Oh, the
Disney.
one where I cried on a ride. That was your best trip.
The one where
I'm gonna be.
you were a little
completely
too
honest.
young for Tower of Terror.
I forgot we went to Disney World.
That was a hard lesson learned.
I was
Yes.
6, so it was
You
on the
were
lower end of the
6.
spectrum.
It was so special because I'd never been before.
It's not a
And
good
so I
start
got
for
to
me.
experience. No. Okay. Here's the easiest one you're going to get. Sammy, where did I go to college?
Oh God. IU.
Yes. Indiana University, Bloomington, Indiana. Very good. So you've scored 1 correct. After graduating from college, I moved to what town to do what? So this was my first real job, which was.
You were a television person for a children's show.
That's right. I worked for Fox Kids in
At Springfield.
what state?
Oh, I'm just gonna say.
Yes, because there's lots of Springfields, and don't say it's where Homer's from. That's okay. You said Springfield.
Springfield,
Very good.
Ohio?
No, Missouri. There is a Springfield,
Missouri.
Ohio, though. Springfield, Missouri. So we'll give you that. That's 2. What is my favorite word in Spanish? What's my favorite Spanish word?
Chinese. I don't know.
I know you took Chinese. How do you say knee in Chinese? Knee.
I actually have no clue.
You well, in Spanish, it's rodilla.
Oh, I can't even roll my R's.
Oh my gosh, it's so much fun to say rodilla. Okay, here we go. Question number 7, Sammy. What is my special face talent? What can I do with my face that is unique, that not a lot of people can do?
Push your chin out super far?
That's exactly right, Sammy. The chin trick. Would you like to see it right now?
Yeah.
Okay, everybody's going to love this. So this is my normal profile. Are you ready? Can you do that? I don't think you can.
Didn't get those good genes.
Nor do you want to. Pass this along to you, my friend. All right, here we go. Question number 8. My mom, you know her as Mima. She has a nickname for me. What is it? What is her nickname for me?
Oh, it's in your contacts.
You've heard her call me this, and I call her this. It goes both ways.
Oh, I know this.
Do you want me to come back to it?
Oh,
when you're not thinking about it?
Sure, I know this though.
I don't like seeing you struggle.
Oh, it's like a calc test, but worse.
Yeah, kind of.
It's like the derivative is right on my mind.
So you can't come up with it, can you?
Pass.
All right, pass. Okay, this isn't being timed, by the way. Here we go. Number 9. My current car is a Honda. What was my car before this one? I didn't have it very long. It had a bad timing belt. It just didn't last long.
It was an older car, right?
Yeah.
And I remember it broke down when we were near Lawrence's house, I think.
Yeah.
It was I don't know. I'm not good at cars. I know it was like this green, smaller car.
Yes. Green and brown. That's you know what? I'll give that to you. It was a Subaru Outback.
I was not going to say that.
Yeah. No. Subaru Outback. Okay. So it looks like you got 3 correct, and it could be 4 if you guess the name that Mima has for me and I have for her. What's our nickname for each other?
Oh, God.
Sammy, this has been a lot of fun. I don't know if I'm going to tell you or not.
I know this.
This was the first episode of the 2nd season. It's Podfulness. I like to see you squirm. This is great. If you want to follow along on Instagram, visit @Podfulness. Of course, on YouTube, just search for @Podfulness. You'll find the live video episodes. We're on Twitter too and Facebook, but I don't know how any of that works. Heck, I don't even know how Instagram works. Maybe I can get some help for these young people that are coming on the show. So thank you very much for watching, for listening. My name is Mark Klebo Bernstein. It was Klebo, Sammy. Did you just turn your microphone off? I think you got so excited you turned your mic off. We lost all audio contact with our guest. Wave bye-bye, Sammy. Thank you for being on the show. What was that? Why do I talk softer when you can't hear me? Oh, here. You're in the other part of the house. Just scream to me. What is it? Oh, I love you too. I love you very much also. Thank you. The greatest dad ever. Thank you, Sammy. And thank you for listening and watching. We'll see you next time on another episode of
Podfulness.